All right, what's up? Gonna see what we can get today. I had a few people that sent me an invite yesterday. We'll see if those people show up, and then go from there. I guess it's possible. Nobody shows up, but that's okay. See what we can do. I was surprised how many people showed up yesterday, so I felt why not give it another try? Click the wrong button. So, hello. See what we can do. Don't have many I don't have any planned subjects at the moment, but we'll kind of see how it goes. What are your four favorite insects and bugs to eat? Worms, potato bugs, cockroaches. If I had to choose, hmm, I mean, I guess if like, oh crap, my volume just went crazy. Sorry about that. Let me turn that down a little bit. Um, I guess if I had to, if I'm starving, it's probably worms first, right? I think eat some worms. Cockroaches would be tough. So hold on, let me turn down my gain a little bit. Sounds like it's picking me up quite a bit when I get too loud. That's a weird question though, so I'm gonna have to ask you the same thing back now. What's your answer? Let me try to stretch this out. Do a little stretchy. No, I don't want it bigger. I'm still trying to get all this stuff set up. So as we go along and I do more of these, I'll get it I'll get it looking how I want because I like things to be as professional as possible. So eventually I will get this set up exactly how I want it. Of course, don't forget to click your buttons and all that stuff. People can't see air, but breathing God's air is you gotta come in here. You were we look, you thanked me for not booting you yesterday, right? So you should come in here and talk to me. I think I'm a pretty friendly person, right? I'm a pretty friendly human. So don't be afraid to come in here and chat. Um, as I've stated, I don't know if you've actually watched any of my videos, but as I have stated, I do not think you can control your beliefs. So you believe what you believe, but I also think you should probably come say why and defend it. That's how I look at it. But thanks for coming back. I'm not sure what was going on yesterday about people talking about banning people, but from what I could see is I could not see like anything like bad going on. I don't know, but all right, let me do this here. Edit. I want the height to be bigger, right? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I know you say the evidence is all over, but come chat with me, right? Because how I look at it is the evidence you have should be able to convince anyone, right? If it convinced you, it should be able to convince anyone. At least that I hope you think that as well. And if I had that kind of evidence, I would just share it all the time, to be fair. When I was when I was just like we spoke about yesterday, when I was just a crazy believer, man, I was spreading this stuff all the time. That's all I could do. The only thing that mattered to me was talking about God, right? I stated before, I didn't care about sports, even though I was good in sports, and my coaches used to get mad at me because I never understood why any of this mattered if the Bible was true. Nothing that we were doing mattered. But I see the world and society, even believers, living their lives just like everybody else. So it's I don't know. Um, what do you mean you don't really believe in God? Kind of what I'm talking about now. I don't. I How should I word this without being rude to people? I guess. I think if you really 100% believed in God, at least in America, by the way, or United States, I don't. Nobody lives like they believe in God. Like, just imagine, like, if you're talking about the biblical God, by the way, why are you going to work? Right? Like, why are you doing all of these other things that are not important, right? Like Jesus himself, if you want to believe it, says drop everything and follow him. No one's doing that. Yeah, like no one's doing that. Wouldn't be science or scientists if didn't have God's creating to investigate. I believe people seeking God can find truths, right? But that does not mean God is there, right? Like, there was a point in time where everyone was religious, even scientists, and there are certain discoveries that came from religious people trying to find God. It does not mean that God is was there, right? Yo, yo, what up, Bean? That's one of my buddies right there. Mr. Bean Daddy's heard me say many of these things plenty of times. That's for sure. Um, After the afterlife, can't believe in God. It would be too late. That would be great to talk about because why isn't all loving God not forgiving you after you die? Right? That's not all loving. That's not all forgiving. Not all forgiving. That's not very forgiving. As we are taught to forgive each other without any what should I say? I don't even know what word I'm trying to use. I just got off work, so I'm a little out of it. Without requiring anything from you, I am told to forgive, and the greatest being in existence cannot do the same thing. That's kind of strange. Why do we hold ourselves to a higher standard than God? Like you probably hold your neighbor to a higher standard than you do God, right? I think that's something to think about. Humans can't. Um, aren't you comprehending God and speaking for God at the moment, right? Like we are saying exactly what God wants without being God. So I think we are all speaking for God. Me too. You as well. You're speaking for God. Oh yeah, I mean there's always whatever we want to call evil around, right? But what I have noticed, and that's what started making me get my channel back going, was a lot of these evil people, man, are The people talking about being Christians, man. Like a lot of these people in our government right now are praising Jesus and taking away people's rights and all sorts of things going on in the name of Jesus, by the way. Protecting Peter, I don't know if you can say that on YouTube. Protecting Epstein type people while saying that they praise God. Well, if you think about like if it's an atheist, right? They're not believing what you're saying. So you can critique something and not believe it, right? It's kind of like if you think about, I like Harry Potter as an example. Voldemort is a bad guy. Do I really believe Voldemort is real? No, but I can critique the character. And like you're typing enough, by the way. You might as well just hop in and we can just chat and you don't have to type. Just saying. If you wanna hop in and have a conversation, I am a nice person, really. I'm not gonna cuss you out or anything like that. We would just have a discussion. So feel free. I'm trying to see if any of these guys or whoever, any of these people pop back in that sent me a friend request. I can't talk sometimes on Discord. Hey, what up? Leave my elevator alone. I like that name. Leave my elevator alone. So how was everybody's day? How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're ready to question your beliefs. Uh, I'm laughing at myself yesterday. I haven't got to go back through the VOD, but I thought it was pretty hilarious. I couldn't even remember my own lines. It was really funny. I was trying to do my sign off and I couldn't I couldn't remember what I always say in the video. Oh, good. That was hilarious to me. Let me see if I can get this to stop blowing around. You want some Moe's loaded chachos, nachos, Moe's. I think I heard of a place Moe's, but you might not. It's windy outside. You might not be in the same area, but no, you don't gotta say where you at. So Moe's, I've heard of some Moe's, but there's probably plenty of Moe's. Looks like our buddy Kindred. He was cool to talk to yesterday. I'm actually gonna see if he wants to come in here. Let's see if he wants to have a round two. Yeah, he says he wants to talk again, so we're gonna have him talk again. He actually must have heard his ears. What do you say when somebody's talking about you? Do your ears like tingle or something? I can't remember what it is. Vital already. Hey, hey, everybody can chat, man. All I can say is what I would rather. Um, if if you're making claims, even in the chat, I think it's okay for other people to ask you to provide some proof. Okay, so uh, be prepared to be called out if you make a claim, because I will do the same. So, make air. I kind of curious what you mean when you say make air. I mean, we kind of do know what air is made out of. We can make a vacuum, so we can suck the air out of a place. That's kind of cool, right? The fact that we know that, at least, it's kind of what I think. Makes sense, right? We can suck the air out of places. I got some orange juice. Orange juice. My little orange juice. And my hair is kind of tripping today. When you look at yourself in the camera, you notice a lot of stuff. All right, cool. Yeah, he says he's gonna join later. So we at least got somebody for later if we're still on. Let me look at my because the recent video we did was the one on Carl Sagan. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. If you haven't, go take a look. Carl Sagan said some pretty cool stuff. So the one that I was, excuse me, the one I did the last video on was Carl Sagan speaking to what's the gentleman's name? One moment. I don't know the other guy's name. I just know who Carl Sagan is. What is this fool's name? I don't know. It was some late night interview type of thing back in the day, and Sagan was bringing up the fact that it was a good point because why, why if God is perfect in this scenario, why does God have to meddle anything? Why does God have to meddle around after creation? Why didn't God just make it perfect the first time around? And usually that argument is like combated or the apologetic to the argument, right? Is it's part of the plan, or I'm sure you can think of other reasons, but the key thing to me is what's heaven then, right? So if we have to go through this process and the reason is free will or whatever reasons we want to give, so what happens in heaven? Are all those things taken away from me when I get to heaven, or is there just no free will anymore? What's going on there? And if it's possible to have created heaven, why not have just made that in the first place, right? So like, why not just start there? Make heaven. Honestly, don't even make any people that aren't going to go to heaven. Let's just like you can still have free will, right? We can like I can imagine creating a place that the only people I create have free will, but I already know they're only choosing the path to heaven. Right? Like so so don't have anybody there that's not going to take the correct path. That's mean. Like I'm being nice with my words there, but that's just mean. I feel like that's mean. He could if he took free will away. So I'm guessing you're agreeing with me there on like how do you create heaven, right? Because what happens when like your mother's there, like say your mother made it. We always talk about moms like they're like moms can't be bad, by the way. Um, but anyways, I'm gonna still go with that. But like, what happens if your mom's in heaven and you're not? Is she sad? He could if he took free will away. We do it to ourselves. Yes, but technically, God did not give free will, like you're saying, right? Did you choose to come here, or were you just born and God just allowed you to be born, right? Free will is a weird one, right? Because what is free will? Like, what really is it? If God made my brain the way it is, um, I did not have free will to think any other way than the way that I think. You don't have free will to you don't have free will to choose your beliefs, right? You just believe something. If somebody presents enough evidence, you believe it, and there's just this trigger in your brain that flips, and then all of a sudden you believe. So you're not choosing to believe. So free will with beliefs is, I think, easily proven wrong, right? Well, then you'd be able to. I think you mean when you say free will to believe, I think you're saying that you have the free will to act as if you believe. I really feel that's what most people mean, because honestly, like really, in why wouldn't I just believe, or why wouldn't I just make myself believe? Right? That's a pretty fun thing to believe. Let's just to be real about it. Hey, I'm gonna die. I get forgiven for anything, and I don't even mean that in some way of like I'm like a bad person and I want to do bad things. Like in general, I think I don't ever want to harm people or do bad things, but it would be awesome to really believe fully, like, hey, guess what, man? You're just forgiven no matter what, and still be a good person, by the way. So I think a bunch of people would just choose to believe if you could just choose to believe. So I'm curious if you mean we have the free will to act as if we believe, because those are different. I mean, we can make the claims that all these things are real, but I think if I presented something to you, you would tell me to prove it. But you're making these claims, but you will not provide any proof, right? Because if I say something to you that, like, I'm saying, "Hey, this God's not real," you're gonna tell me to prove it. So I think it would require you to prove things as well. That's only fair. How does Anubis feel like that's like, Egyptian, right? Am I right on that? Yeah, what if you're wrong about, the Muslim hell? You believe in, Christianity. What if you're like the Muslim hell? If hell is real, I guess, yes, you're right, but what if you're wrong about another hell? Like, that's the question. What if you're wrong? Can you be wrong? Can you be honest with us here and say that you could be wrong? How about that? And if you can't be wrong, you should be able to provide us proof. And I want the proof, man. Let's see. Well, the discussion is supposed to be you really don't believe in God. So you first proved I don't really believe in God. Oh, well, hey, if you want to hop in, we can have a chat. If you look into the description, I would have to talk to you to prove that you probably don't really believe in God. It's kind of something that, like, I mean, us sitting here and you typing, like, but hey, if you want to come chat, just send me a friend request and we can chat. There's some questions I would need to ask you though. Just a few questions. People wear seatbelt for caution and don't know if any accident will happen. People should save their soul. Okay. Yes, but even that is against your argument because we know seatbelts work. And before seatbelts were implemented, they did testing on seatbelts to prove that seatbelts save lives. Right? There's proof behind it. Got another friend request here. Let me accept it to see who that's from. We'll see. I will accept it. Yeah, okay. We'll just see what they say. Hopefully, we can get somebody in here. I mean, we can, like I said, it's a little off topic, but talking about how religion spread, it's not a nice picture. Not at all. If you can't, a accident is going to happen. I don't know. I feel like, is it Patal? I feel like you're kind of not listening to anything I say there, and you're just kind of saying your lines, unfortunately. So I kind of would like you to maybe respond to what I'm saying a little bit, but all good. It's tough. Tough, man. Stupid curtains get on my nerves. Can't see how. um, let's see. How can we break this down? Because you're saying be cautious about something that you don't know exists or doesn't you don't think exists, right? I think there's plenty of things that you aren't cautious or sorry, you aren't afraid of that you just don't know exist, right? Obviously, we wouldn't be able to think of those things, but there are things that we don't know of that you should be afraid of. Or actually, you know what? Let's take it this way. Like, it is very certain that one day a a comet or some kind of rock will smash into the earth again. You are probably not afraid of that at all. You like you probably don't have any precaution things that you have done. Like you just don't care. Like you probably just don't even worry about it. wait, wait, what COVID-19? Where did that come from? We talking about COVID? Lost on that one. You cure COVID-19. I don't know. I don't know what that means, bro. Just saying. We have any believers in the chat? Anyone that's not afraid to come chat? Don't be scared. I see prayer in like two ways. At least what I've seen myself is if you pray, something works out, everybody says it's God. If you pray, doesn't work out, then obviously people say that they blame you or it's just God's will. So technically there's just no real way of knowing if prayer works if no matter what happens we are going to make an excuse. So it's a tough spot. We'll get Patal in here one of these days, right? Gosh. I mean, I would love just to speak because it feels like you got a lot to say. So honestly, I think you should just join up. You sound like you got a lot. I won't just let you sit here and preach, but I'm gonna ask you some questions. Pascal's wager, I feel like yeah, that's kind of misleading, and I think it only is technically speaking about the Christian God. So it's like it's worse than that because like what if you're just wrong about the God you decide to just go with just to be safe, right? And then I think Pascal actually was of the or was of the mind to believe that you can't really choose what you believe. So it was more of just act as if you believe it in the hopes of you will end up just believing it, and which I think can be true. If you pretend long enough, you possibly can trick your brain into believing something. But to me, that's not the same thing as just instantly choosing to believe. Got a Windows update. I'm gonna wait on that. You know what I meant to do is do this. Waiting on you, Patal. Get in here and show us what's up. Show us. Why not? Here's the new video for anyone that hasn't seen it yet. We might be a little too early. Depends what time zone everybody's in. Too early or too late. As we got one person that said they'll come in, but unfortunately, I don't know if we have a time frame. He said he'll hop in soon, so I'm gonna give him some time. He said he's a little busy at the moment, but did say he's gonna hop in soon. So if we can get a good little chat in, we got like yesterday was like 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours. Total the stream was 6 hours, and we had three people hop in. So that was, I mean, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then I did have one other one. Forgot his name. Hold on, do I have it here? Yeah, Nahal, Nihal was saying he's gonna come back and show me something, right? That's what I remember him saying. We'll see, man. We'll see. I want to get rid of this top part on here. Let's see. Let's do that. Oh, I'm gonna go over my little bears' faces. I didn't realize that. I'm over the little faces of the bears. Let's do that. There we go. Oh, he wanted me to share my YouTube channel. Sure thing, buddy. Sure thing, buddy. All right. Channel. I forgot people just randomly like come to the lives. Hey, that'd be cool. Jesus calls in. Be awesome. As I we at least will have one. It's just whether we can sit here and wait long enough, you know, be fair. Hey, what's up? What's up? You must be one of my what's that? Who's that? I know who I don't know if I just don't know this name. I'm curious. If you say never flame, never tilt, you're definitely you've known me for a while. No Twitch stream. Nope. Or maybe you don't know me for a while. I don't know. I could just be assuming, but anybody that usually would say never flame, never tilt knows me from my old days. Oh, it is my username. That's hilarious. Oh man, you're so right. That is my username. I forgot. That's so funny. I yeah, it is my username. That's funny. Okay. Wait, so, like what's your name on Twitch? I know that. I didn't even notice that's my username. That's hilarious. That's pretty funny. Secret. I feel like I saw that name in the last one. I'm gonna. I want to say somebody named Yo, but I don't know. It might be. I'm just guessing at the moment. I feel like somebody used that name said something yesterday as well, but I don't know. It could be wrong. Oh man, it's actually like a pretty boring day today for me. Most people took the week off. Yeah, I was arguing with chat last stream. Were you? I tell you what, the stream was there was so much conversation going on with the people I was speaking to. I almost didn't even notice the chat. It was really tough to. I got to get used to that again. I used to be obviously really used to like gaming and watching the chat, talking, watching the chat. Now, like that's a little tough. Yeah, chat was fast. Everybody was in here arguing with Patal. Like, yeah, yeah. That's why I want you to hop in here. I mean, I guess at the beginning, to be fair, even if you kind of agree with me, you can kind of still hop in until we get somebody. Uh, I mean, conversation might not be as interesting, I guess, but I might go grab me some more orange juice. So, waiting on Kindred to hop in if they can. So I want to give them a shot. They say that they might have some new stuff for me. I don't know. Maybe they got something that'll blow my mind. Arguing that the lack of evidence of God does not prove. Sure. So do you believe in God? Because hey, we need somebody to come chat. Send me a invite. Hop in here. Even though the theme is you really don't believe in God, but I think even you saying that maybe you aren't 100% sure either, right? Which would still prove the theme of the which would still be the title, right? Going to sleep. Hey, all good, man. No worries at all. Let me see if I can send some messages out, get some folks in here. So I got some people. See if they're not scared. Let me share the link. Where do I get the link at? You're going to sleep. You either work all night or it's late for you. You must be there we go. Share. Wait, what did I just do? What was that? I didn't mean to link that. My bad. This is what not the one. Share. Copy. There it is. Chat crashed. I said I'm trying to gauge when to because yesterday I think we possibly like since everyone was just off, we got kind of like lucky in a way of everybody that was available. So yeah, I mean, but our instincts are wrong a lot. And how do you have an instinct about something that you Like there's no like take God out of it for a second. Like what supernatural things have you witnessed, right? Like how do you jump to that, right? Because I can have an instinct that, and whatever that means, by the way, I think we might be misusing that word a bit, but I can have like an intuition that, hey man, there's something in my closet. It feels like there's something in my closet, but you would teach your kids that there's not some ghost or monster in your closet, but your kid would tell you that they have some instinct or whatever word we want to use that there is something in the closet. So it's like why do we teach our kids to not believe in those kind of things? Like there's no monsters under the bed and all of that, right? So it's just like why would we do that? And then when you grow up and get old, you're telling like we have adults that believe in some crazy stuff, man. On a higher level, you are also instinctively dismissing anything that doesn't point to science. Every your so how you live your life every day is technically science to me, right? You do nothing like you don't live in any way that's not scientific, right? That's how you function. Your heart beats scientific. You think scientific. You walk outside scientific. Like literally everything that you are doing right now is provable by science, right? Like what thing are you doing that's not that science doesn't kind of have some explanation for it? Like there's stuff we don't know, but the stuff that we do know, it's all scientific, right? I think you can agree with that if we're going to be honest here. Like why are we I guess I don't get the question. Why were you just not downloaded with those thoughts? No, I am saying that there is no such thing as like you're like what are I guess give me an example. This is why you should have hopped in, by the way. I think I'd be able to understand you better on what you're trying to say. Give me an example of something you do that science can't describe in a way, I guess. I'm trying to understand why what you're saying when you say that. Like, what do you do that isn't scientific, really? Like there's bad science, by the way, but there's no way for you to interact. There's no way for you to think. There's no way for you to conceptualize anything without using the science that is science, right? Like you use your eyes. Like you said you had like a intuition, you're using your brain. Like all of these things are scientific. Now whether you take the next steps and do the whole scientific process, which is like actual evaluating and testing what your stuff is, like you have no choice but to live in science, right? Yeah, that's the great thing. Science isn't always right, but my point is, that's the purpose of it, right? It's not Yeah, it's like that is the actual purpose of it. It is it it trying to correct itself because that's what science is. That's what I meant by like there's no one living that's not living in science, right? Like it's weird when you really think about it. Like you get in your car, science. You you ride your bike, science. Like you walk around, science. You put on your clothes, science. Like everything you do, even your emotions can be explained by science in a way. Like we're getting pretty good at it. It's not 100% sure, but I can see eventually just from the progress that we have made that we will be able to detect your feelings. Like, I can imagine one day people really not being able to lie. Like, I think science would get to the point to where we would just know so much about how we work that you would just know. Like, there would be something that just knew you were lying, like, really. When I read a book about Marcus Aurelius, I write about who so are you saying when you read the Bible, you actually think the Bible knows what God is? Is that what you're saying? Make sure I'm clear on that. Also, anybody that wants to join, we don't have anybody that's calling in yet. I would love to talk to some of you guys. Most likely are preferring a believer. Um, so if you go to the description, you can see Discord. You send me a little friend invite on the Discord. I'll jump you in. Like we're in a gang, I'll jump you in. But give me a moment. Like I said, we are waiting on someone that said they would call in, so I'm trying to give them a shot. And it seems like we're starting to have a good discussion, by the way. So I'm all cool with that as long as we're having some kind of discussion. I just don't want to sit here and bore the shit out of everybody. But give me a moment, guys. I'll be right back. Oops. am muted. Back at it. Got my orange juice. Um, let's see. Let me catch up. You can probably chat tomorrow. Cool. I think I'll be on. We'll see. Just send me a friend request and we'll link up. It might be a little later tomorrow, so just a little heads up. Peter, well, hey, I don't like. I give everybody a shot. Okay, so if Peter wants to hop in here and be a new Peter, then everybody else knows. I don't know. I don't know Peter. I will give people a shot. Anybody can jump in here and have a conversation with me until you prove to me you're an asshole. I'll give you a shot. And even if you're like a little bit of an asshole, it might be okay. It just depends on what type of asshole you are. But I handle jerks all day. So I can handle jerks. So it's like I said, it just depends on if you're an adult jerk, because they're children like jerks that just cross lines or whatever. But if you're an adult and a jerk, I could probably handle you. But if you act like a child, that's a little different. I saw somebody said reading about God. I don't think anyone is reading about God, right? I'm not saying there is no God. I am saying that everything that's written down is it's not true. It's not like it's not God. God would just come here. There wouldn't need to be any writings. The fact that there are writings is kind of like it's I don't know, it's stupid. Let's just be real about that. Why would God need anyone to write it down? Like there is nothing there is nothing that could hold God back. Or at least that's what we assume. Maybe we're all wrong about God and God's limited, by the way. But how I look at it is this. If there is a being, right? It seems to either not want to interact or it cannot interact. And if I'm playing this game of God, it would be something like say like you have uh like I don't know, bugs and stuff on your skin or on your eyes, like you can't talk to these things. It doesn't matter what you do. Like they would never understand you, right? So I could never send a message to the little bugs that are in her eyelashes. I could never send a message and be like, "Hey guys, stop pooping in my eye, please." Like, and it doesn't matter what I do. I know those things are there, by the way, right? Everybody knows about that, I think. Is that still scientific? I could be wrong. I thought that's still true. I can never speak to these things and they just exist, right? They just exist. Like that is more the reality of what if there is some kind of God. That is more of a reality to anything that it cannot speak to us at all. Which then for me, it makes it silly for any of us to ever get punished, right? So it starts to defeat everything. Like if you have a detailed description of God, you're probably wrong. And because reality does not look like that. I forgot what little bugs they are, but there's little bugs in your eyes. And every morning, the sleep or whatever they call it that you get, those are like it's like bugs, like little microscopic bugs, and they poop. At least that's like this is what I used to think, or not think. That's what they used to teach. I don't know if this is true anymore. Somebody look it up, by the way. Like I was pretty sure that's what they used to say. And like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This is showing my age a little bit, but I do remember a time where they were saying like, no, there's these little bugs, like, and it was science, right? It was scientific. I can look it up right now, actually. I don't have to have anybody else look it up. Um, let's see. Yeah, what pops up is as soon as I start typing, are there microscopic bugs on your eyelashes? That's funny. Nearly all humans have microscopic eight-legged. Ugh, ugh. These tiny bugs are entirely normal and are standard part of the body. Okay. God spoke to Samuel in person. He spoke to Paul and to many others. The problem is, does he speak to people today? Well, sure, those are the stories that were told by ancient people, but guess what? A lot of ancient people told other stories. What about Zeus? What, right? You know what I mean? What about Hercules? Right? What about all these other myths and gods? And they don't show up anymore either, by the way. That's the clue. None of these ancient gods show up anymore. They stopped showing up, but they used to show up all the time. Something to think about. They showed up all the time. Like I have a video on that where it was just like where I was saying that the ancient world was like Harry Potter. There was miraculous shit happening all the time. Like literally miracles every freaking day it seems like, cuz that's what everybody was writing about, man. Do I really think that was going on? No, but it was like the times that they lived in, there's just magic shit everywhere. And now all of a sudden it's gone, right? When I can record it and send it to the future, right? Like I have it for the future and be like, "No, we had real magic back in 2026." There's nothing, right? We barely got some grainy alien videos, man. It was Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, right? Crazy. And if you really think about it, man, just to be fair to these people, because I'm not even judging the ancient people, they lived in their time. It's like right now, there's stuff that we have no clue what it is. So in those things, I see how people get superstitious. So, because it's just something that we will know in the future that we don't know right now, and it's the spooky to us, right? So that's the spooky part. But in the future, we'll laugh at ourselves, and it's the same thing. Like, just think about all the stuff you believed when you were a child, man. Like before you understood the stuff that you understand now. If you're a little bit older, just think about the stuff that you used to think was true, that even the whole world thought was true, that now we have found out it's just silly as hell. Like, really look at those things, take away your emotions to the stuff that you believe or didn't believe, and start looking at what usually happens. Like, usually, if there is no proof behind it, you're you're most likely just wrong in a way. Doesn't necessarily mean that's 100% true, but if it's not tying to reality at all, you might be wrong. It's okay. It's okay, man. I think people get their feelings hurt too fast and they just anchor themselves into their beliefs instead of calming down, having some emotional intelligence and moving on. maybe you'll be proven later or whatever the case is. Can anyone heal a leper, give sight to the blind, speak another language without ever learning it, resurrect the dead, walk on water or water and turn water into wine? Yeah. I forgot who I was talking to yesterday, but the conversation was about like how did Jesus feed the 5,000 with just like two loaves and a fish, right? Like, did the fish just continue to grow and like you would cut the fish, feed somebody, and it just didn't cut? Like, what was that like? Like, what would it be? Like, what would that be? It's like kind of insane when you think about it. I think it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if you looked up those microscopic bugs that are all over us. Yeah, that would be what we are, right? If there's some being, right? If there's a God, I am more likely to say that is more likely true, that it cannot speak to us. It doesn't even really know we exist. Like, that's more likely of a scenario. Even though I'm not saying that's true, by the way. I'm just saying that that is more likely of a scenario than what you read in the Bible. Because if you believe in the Bible, there is literally zero reasons why God is not showing up anymore. Zero. It doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that God's going to stop showing up. Even at the end, right? It talks about God still being around and being very active. It says the end is near, whatever, right? Like, so even the book itself tells you that these things are supposed to be continuously going on, right? And even the people that think they're even the people that think that they're like are super religious, like I look at the Pope, right? I don't even think the Pope really believes in God. Like he has no powers. Like if you're the Pope, you should have like more power than anyone in a way. Like, and when I say power, I mean I don't even know how to word it. I just want to say magic, right? If you're the Pope, should you not be able to just heal people like you were told you would be able to do? Like you will be doing these things in my name? Like, isn't that one of Jesus's statements? Like, and what can the Pope do? Why isn't the Pope just running around just healing people? Like, why isn't that going on? Why aren't any of these priests and stuff just going around truly healing people, by the way, for free? Why aren't those things going on? Why do we not see those things going on? Oh, because it's probably bullshit, right? Let's just be real on that, man. I kind of get heated on that kind of stuff because uh how many horrible things that are going on uh to people, and then especially vulnerable people that can't do anything for themselves, like children, and I'm just talking about children, I'm talking about disabled children, uh elderly, like all the horrible things going on, all the pain and suffering, yet we're supposed to have these group of people that have special powers to be able to help people, and no one's doing that. Pope's too busy coming up. Yeah, I mean, sadly, that's true. Like I said, that stuff kind of irks me, man. Like, these things should be going on. All right, looks like we might have our kindred in the house. Put on my headset. Prayer to me is you speaking to yourself. I think there was a recent study uh, about them studying people praying, and the same things light up in your brain that light up when you are having a conversation with yourself. So you can pray to God, and the same part of your brain lights up that if you were just talking to yourself. So pretty cool. All right, we got somebody ready to join. Here we go. Put on my headset. Mess up my hair.
Yo, yo,
What up, bro?
not mucho. How about for you, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. You had the whole chat waiting on you, man. We've been trying to get somebody in. Everybody too scared. So you the
Oh, for real?
yeah yeah you
Dang.
you're the one that's ready.
I'm honored, I guess. The chosen one type vibes, I guess.
Yeah, I was messing with you about the kindred name.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
What were you
so
saying? I
I was
missed
like,
that.
we got Kindred in the house. I'm just gonna call you Kindred because it's because I'm an old school League player. I suck, by the way, at League. By the way, I'm not gonna act like I'm good. I
Hey,
I,
man.
I maxed
I'm just,
out at Plat. Plat. That's it.
I feel that.
All right,
uh,
man. What you got for me today, man? You got some new stuff. Are you ready to admit that I was telling the truth? What you got?
like, you ready to return back to Christ, bro? Like, that kind of vibe. But I kid, I kid. Oh, but um, kidding, not kidding. Reference to.
No, no, I know you're kidding, not kidding. I get it. And here's my thing on that, by the way.
Yeah,
If you believe in this at all, I do think you would have to go preach it to people. So I do want to be clear on that, how I believe that would be true. And if you're not, it's kind of against the whole religion because
yeah.
it's the most important thing. So do I agree with you that it's true? No, but I agree with that you should be teaching or trying to show people the truth
Indeed,
that
indeed.
that
That's
you
what I try
believe.
to do.
So,
Yeah, that's what.
where do we end off yesterday? What did we?
Where did we end off yesterday? Um, bro, we discussed a lot.
Oh, you can't hear him. 1 second, let me turn it up. All right, go ahead.
where did we leave off yesterday? I know we were talking about a few of the topics we were talking about is like I know we talked about hell. We talked about just God's omniscience and divine hiddenness.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, here's something I have because I
yeah,
was
yeah.
I was just having you kind of rattle so I can think of it something. So,
Go
um,
ahead.
my recent video has Carl Sagan.
Mhm.
We can hear he's just in.
Cool dude, cool dude.
So they say your audio is a little off. Are you in a different spot today?
Oh no, no. I guess I'm not. I guess I'm just not close enough to. Hold on.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that better?
I see your volume going pretty high, but maybe it just like, are you on speaker?
Nah. Hold on. I don't know. Let me see about the voice and video settings. Oh, I see. I see. Is this better?
Yeah, oh yeah, that was it right there. Whatever you just did.
Okay, so yeah, I'm in my studio. I make music, and I was recording earlier today.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, you're good now.
and
That has to
so
be
yeah.
good. Because you just hit a boom, boom. All right. Um. Okay,
Yeah.
so the video that I was working on, or I did yesterday, has Carl Sagan, and one of his questions was, it was why did God or why didn't God just do it right the first time? Why does a God have to meddle in its creation? Should that not point to it not being perfect? And this tags and ties in a little bit of what we talked about yesterday, I believe. Uh,
Yeah, with the bike maker
yeah, about
image
yeah,
that um
like why,
okay.
why would a God have to keep tweakering or tinkering? Right there, you go.
Yeah. So um I think my argument, to flesh it out a little bit, have you since our discussion, have you looked into like different ethical frameworks or no? I know it was just
So
yesterday,
you
but
have like the like if you go like the secular route where it's just like the humanist type of thing, is that where we're kind of going?
no, no, like what I was talking about yesterday with virtue ethics and utilitarianism, and
Oh, no. Let's do that then because that is something we were talking about. Hopefully it still
okay,
ties into what I just was saying.
it does, it does,
Okay.
because if God, it matters the goal of what creation was intended to do and be for is why it ended up in an imperfect state in the first place. So, or why it is imperfect in that way. Um, so just to lay the grounds, do you remember what utilitarian means and
Um
virtue ethics?
the utilitarian was the go ahead and say it again. It's okay.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
it's
So
fine.
basic ethics lesson. I would highly encourage you because it'll help you to identify like what ethical framework that you kind of align with when it comes to your decision making, and
Oh yeah,
it'll help
utility.
you
It's the utility of like it right. Like
close.
so it's
So
like if my goal is to cause the least amount of suffering, something like that.
um different.
Okay,
So it's a
all
little
right,
bit different.
keep going. That's cool.
So
That's no worries. That's cool.
yeah, utilitarianism in short terms is the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people, and it takes the results in first, and it disregards the means. So the opposite of that would be what we call Kantianism, which has the intention, the why overrides the means to do something. So that's what is valued most in that ethical framework. So in utilitarian, it doesn't matter the end. It doesn't matter how you achieve the end goal. It just matters that you get to the end goal.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that.
And yeah, exactly. And so
Yeah.
that's what I would say that is kind of might have been what you were arguing yesterday with in that kind of vein. And that's not what God operates in.
Are
Um,
we sure? Because that's what it seems like.
yeah, so I would say that God operates in a virtue ethics. So
Virtue
it's
ethics. All right, keep going.
yeah, so that's virtue ethics, also called feminist care, if you want to look into it as well. So virtue ethics, and is what I was talking about earlier with the meaning making is what is the most important.
Oh, character and disposition. Disposition. Golly, can't talk.
So
Over specific rules and
yeah,
consequences of actions.
what is going to make the maximally good, the maximum amount of good, essentially, characteristically, virtually. So in that
Sure,
instance,
right? Now, this
and so
works for me when we are speaking. And like I said, I'll always go back to this because I think it's the most important thing for anyone to realize. This works in a universe where everything is fallible. If we have one thing that is not fallible and it creates everything, none of this matters anymore because it can create whatever it can create the goal that it needs or wants, right? So if I'm building a society, I'm kind of with you that a lot of these things we would have to come into play and we would all bring them to the table to try to create just the best society that we could. But it would only be because we would all agree that none of us are perfect. So that's why we would need any of these structures because we're not perfect. The problem is once you're perfect and you can just create worlds and universes, you no longer need any of these things. Before you hopped on, I was actually given a scenario where there can still be free will, but the only people that are in existence are people that God already knew were going to choose the correct path? Because I know a lot of the issues is free will, and
So
could God have not created that place?
if I can challenge you on that,
Mhm.
what meaning does good have then?
It would still be good, right?
But it be maximally good?
If God is perfect, God could create the scenario where it's maximally perfect. Like
Okay,
I'm
so I
taking
think
my human brain out of it and saying like if I literally can do anything within reason, like I'm not one of those people that say God can do something illogical. Uh
yeah.
if I can do it within reason, then yes, I would know how to solve the problem that I caused in the first place.
Okay. So, and that's kind of where I would disagree a bit.
I'm
Um,
sure you disagree with a lot of
yeah, yeah.
it.
Uh, but I think that snap. I'm sorry. I got a phone call that kind of
All good.
diverted my attention. Um, but when it comes to uh God, we have to understand that though He is omnipotent and all knowing, just to assume,
All powerful too, right?
yeah, all powerful as well. Um,
That's key.
we have to understand that God is omnipotent in the sense that he can do any, like you said, he's not going to do anything illogical, but also God is like just like everything in nature is bound to its nature. God is bound to be good by his nature.
Yeah, okay.
So
Let's like good is just subjective, right?
I would disagree. Okay, let's define our terms. I think that okay, so defining our terms, I believe that good is purely existence.
Well, then I feel like we would just be kind of just making up our own definitions, and
Okay, so why would
because I think when
okay,
you say God is good, I don't, and I hope I don't think I would actually put money. You don't think that God existing means good, right?
no, that's not what I mean. But
So then existence
um
can't be good,
God,
right?
say that one more time.
Then existence can't just be good.
Okay.
What are you saying when you say that phrase? Let me ask that. Like existence is
What I
good.
mean
What does that mean?
is so I would say that the fact of a a thing existing is goodness,
Okay, what is
and God is pure.
goodness?
Yeah, God is pure. God being pure existence, he is that good that sustains everything in existence. Therefore, good in this sense is that it exists. Anything that is going to um, be a privation of that existence is therefore evil.
Okay, so let me try to humanize this for myself. Um, the fact that my heart keeps me alive, you're saying since my heart exists, that's goodness?
I would say no, no. So I would say life in itself is is good.
There is no scenario you can think of that life is not good?
I would say if it experiences privation, then it becomes less of a good.
Privation meaning like
Like
self? Go ahead. Just go ahead.
privation or perversion, it's like something that um alters it, like um kind of like states of entropy.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that. That's whenever it becomes a state of less good or even evil. is whenever it is departed from that good. So
Oh,
if
because
it's
good is the existence.
yes,
Got it. So anything that is taking us away from existence, like entropy, would be what we call bad,
what would be what we call evil.
evil. Okay.
I think bad is a little bit weird.
I mean, I think of course it sounds a little bit weird. I just, even though like if I disagree on how those would have meant in other phrases or in other conversations, as long as I know what you mean by it, I
Yeah.
think we could still work with it. uh, because I still think, even how you are presenting it, that it still would be subjective because I could think not I could think entropy is a good thing, right? Because I could think of reasons of why things living forever would be bad. Like even if I critique God, maybe that's why God's a jerk. God, like living forever does not sound that awesome to me, right? So I could just imagine, like maybe that's why God gets so damn mad all the time in the book. Like God can't die, God can't not be. So it's like maybe that's not the good thing, living forever, man.
Okay. So I guess the question then would be, why do you believe that living forever wouldn't be something that is good? And yeah, why don't you believe that living forever wouldn't be something that's good?
You ever ate the same food all every day for a long time?
Uh, yeah,
Have you ever
but
had to do that? It sucks.
I agree. But that also goes into what we call the marginal propensity of change, and
Yes,
that's
but
a result
we're
of
saying for forever though, right? Eventually there is no change.
uh,
Like if you live forever, you're going like there's not infinite things you can do.
oh, I why do you say that? If we believe in an infinite God, then why wouldn't there be infinite things we can do?
I think God proves there's not infinite things to do, which is why God would create a small place like this, like
If we believe that
and
the
make it so specifically bad. By the way, like going back to like trying to tie us back to our original conversation about why would God need to keep meddling in things that God created. Um, and I think that would tie into what I was just saying here that like eventually like all options are off the table, so God gets just like bored, like and creates us. And boredom is a bad thing a lot of times. You make bad choices when you're bored. And
yeah,
if I put God into that, God got bored with, if we're just going to go off the Bible, God got bored with the Holy Spirit and Jesus and decided to make people. That's like we're like let's just like if I
okay,
pretend with you, man, we're horrible as far as if God's real, we're horrible. Like it must have been the worst creation possible. And the Bible also says God wishes he did not create man. Like it doesn't make any sense.
okay. So what I would say to that is, if we have a God who is infinite in love and mercy, then by virtue of that, not in love, not just love and mercy, but love and knowledge and mercy and all these things, then by virtue of that, he literally can't run out of things to be loving about, or run out of things to be like run out of things to be loving to, run out of things to be, thinking about. It's not going to be something that grows stagnant.
You think so? Why is God not all loving to things then?
I would
Like why does God
by that
care? Why does God care if somebody murders somebody?
That's why I say virtue ethically, God
Yes, but there was
um
no such thing as murder before, right?
but there was such thing as good before. And now murder is a privation of that which is good. If you're taking away a life for your own personal reasons, murder is defining murder is like but by what I mean by murder is you intentionally think out to kill somebody and intend to take away somebody's life.
Yeah.
That is a
I,
private
I said
that is a
that
privation of life which is good.
I said
Therefore
that
it
for
is
a
good.
reason, man. I said that
Yeah.
for a reason. Because now
Yeah.
you're probably gonna tell me God doesn't murder people, but God murders people.
Okay.
Like
So this is
God murdered more people than anyone ever.
okay. So
No?
I there is an argument for it, but I really don't like the argument at all.
I mean, we don't have to
Um
argue against it. You can just say, "Hey, you're right." I mean, like, and now
I
we can go into like, "Hey, God has a right to do that," or whatever the case is. But the fact of the matter is, God killed way more people than the devil ever did,
hmm.
and God
So
God ordered it. God did
yeah.
it.
So um okay. So is there such thing well, okay, yeah, I agree that God did take away lives
You don't want to use
and
murder, huh? You don't want to say the word murder. Why not? That makes me laugh, man. Why don't you want to say the word murder? God murdered people.
I'd say
What
because
is the definition of murder that you gave me?
I'd say to have murder would be the intentional um and like I said it's a self motivated murder of another I mean not murder but self murder my bad
It's
self
tough.
motivated
It's tough.
killing of another human of a human being
Right. And God murders a lot of
where
human beings. I want to stick to this for a minute because I want you to
you
recognize it. I really want you to recognize that God murdered a lot of people, man.
sure let's go with that God
Okay.
murdered
And that does not make you feel any type of way.
I'd say it does make me feel sad it makes me feel
Does it make
yeah
you want to? And then all of us, what's the next step when you feel that? Do you want to make an excuse?
no but I don't think I want to make an excuse I want to know why though
Yeah, but murder's just bad, period. Like why do you like we it's just bad. So
Do you think that there's any case where it is ethical to kill someone?
killing is different than murder.
Okay, so I would say that God kills instead of murders
Yeah,
because
but
you
as
can
soon as
kill.
but well, as soon as it's like on there's no the only way you can kill somebody and it not be murder to me is self-defense or accident, right? Okay, I'll give an accident.
Really?
Sorry. Yeah.
So you don't believe anything. You don't believe in what's called a mercy kill at all,
Wait, what did I say something wrong? I'm sorry. I'm saying the
no,
only way it's not murder is if it's self-defense, right? That's what I said. Does that still make you say the same thing?
no. I was asking. Do you not believe in mercy kills?
Oh, I do believe if you don't want to be here, you have a right to not be here. Yes.
Or um
Like even if like assistant, what do they call it? Uh,
suicide?
yeah,
I mean, oh, sorry. That's YouTube.
I
That's
don't know. Yeah, I don't know if YouTube allows. I don't know what YouTube allows.
my
I
apologies.
know TikTok's worse. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Um, assisted self delete,
Sluicide. Um, yeah,
self deletion, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Um,
So
but
what's
yeah,
your point to that part? Go ahead.
I would say, or how about in war? Do you believe that is murder? Do you believe that's murder?
It can be, right? But the problem is
It can be.
the problem with our wars right now is a lot of people just go in the belief that their government is telling them the truth, and in turn they think it's self-defense, right?
Uh,
So that's what sucks about war is that they put you in a place that you will defend yourself. Like two groups are just there. And if somebody starts shooting at you, bro, you're going to shoot back. So it does turn into a self-fulfilled, just self-defense scenario caused by people in charge that would never go fight themselves, by the way. I just want to lay that out there. Um, so
nowadays, at least. Back in the days, kings used to ride with
yeah,
their armies.
yeah, that's true. Even in yeah, they would go ride with their lie. Let me just say it that way.
Hmm.
Um, but
Wait, with their
back to what we were saying there. I think we're getting a little off.
yeah.
I think it's very important to realize that as soon as we can say that God murders, that should start adding some more questions to our next parts of the conversation, and that's kind of where I wanted to see where you would go with that. Or, and you didn't do it, by the way. I just want to be clear. You didn't do what I usually hear, which is start automatically defending it. But
Yeah, no.
I think we should kind of unravel that a bit, man. God just murders people. God gets angry and just kills people, which is murder, right? Because you're doing it just out of pure anger. It's not self defense. No one can hurt God. God, like somebody said in chat
Wow.
here, like God murders children. That's definitely not
Ooh,
self
that
defense.
that's interesting. I think that the Bible kind of makes it interesting because we see in the New Testament that you can grieve the Holy Spirit, which is also God, and we also see um, that sin has a principle of injury in the entire Bible as well.
Say that last part again. Principle of injury, right?
Yeah. So essentially,
Expand for me. Yeah.
okay. So um, all right. So I'd say that um, though God lacks nothing, he is still he can still be grieved in heart. And if we have a
God has
maximum,
emotions. I give you that. God
yeah,
obviously has emotions.
right. So if we in our if God is all loving and we in our disobedience commit a sin that is against that love, that infinitely grieves the heart of God and creates separation infinitely in between us in that way.
Which should instantly, though, be counteracted by the love.
Why do you say that?
Because all loving is something that I don't even think anyone can comprehend. All loving literally means forgiveness for everything.
Why do you wait? It leads to the possibility of forgiveness for everything.
Okay, I'll use that. I'm okay with that. And now we like I know a lot of people like to just talk about certain parts of God, but I like to put all of it together because
Yeah.
I'll agree with your statement right there, possibilities, right? But then we add the all power again, and then we add the all knowing again, which means if you're all loving, all powerful,
Hmm.
all knowing, the all
Hmm.
loving is now like I already knew you were gonna do that, and I'm all powerful too, and I still allowed you to do that. You know what? It's my fault, bro. Like literally in this
No.
scenario, everything
I,
is God's fault.
I,
Like I would take the responsibility as a father to my children if I just literally could have stopped them from doing something and still allowed them to do it.
But
I
even
would
in
be like, "Hey,
even
son, I'm sorry, man," and he would probably, I don't know, whatever. He would hate me. He's like, "Dad, you could have stopped me from doing this, and you
man,
just let me do it." And remember, I can stop him from
okay,
doing it, right? Like that's the key here. Like I literally can, and I tell him like, "Hey, I just didn't do it, but I literally could have stopped you, and I didn't do it. Now that is my fault for him, and if he went and hurt other people, that is also my fault. It's just like if I knew my son was gonna go do something horrible, I don't have to say what
yeah,
it is because we know how that shit works nowadays. Like
yeah.
if I knew my son was going to go do something and I did not stop my son, I should go to prison with my damn son. Like I could have stopped him. And I'm saying in the scenario that I literally could have stopped him. God does not do that. And that's a bad parent. That's a bad parent. I need you to just say that with me.
I would, but I would also
That's a bad parent, man. Ah.
I completely disagree.
I know. Go ahead.
But and the reason I would say such is because um we know part of the reason why you also would say that sorry, got a text.
Yep. All good.
Dang. Um but I think part of the reason you and I would say that we would deserve that same kind of punishment is partially because we know that, well, or even the reason why we'd be trying to stop our son from doing something, because we have the kind of morals, and hopefully, we both would
Some of
teach our
us, some people don't
you
have the
know
morals.
I'm talking about just you and me.
Okay, okay. All right.
Yeah. Hopefully we have the morals to to raise up our sons in a correct way, in a correct manner, and how to act like respectable citizens in society.
Oh, I brought it up
Um,
for I brought up for that exact
but
reason though, right?
but
I'm gonna let you finish, but I just wanna so you don't go off and
yeah.
I want to be fair to you because what I meant was I was saying that yes, we know all of those things, and the even if I teach him everything that I feel is right, he can still deviate, right? And this kind of is the metaphor for God. God created
Ooh,
us, and God and we can deviate, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes, we can.
So, but my
You
point is
preaching?
here.
You preach.
That's funny. My point is here though. The problem is that God knows we can deviate. God
Mm-hmm.
can stop us even if we deviate, right?
Mm-hmm.
God can literally allow me to go up to the point and then not do it, right? Like I could literally be
Amen.
like, "Hey, I'm not too sure if my son's going to do it." But as soon as I see him start walking out of the house with some bag that he's never had before, or as soon as I start seeing him doing some shit that he's never done before, I need to start watching him, right? Like it is my responsibility. And then imagine in this scenario, I'm God, right? So I have cameras.
Mm.
All I got cameras. I'm watching him no matter what. When he's in his room, I'm seeing him. When he goes in his car, I'm seeing him. If I do not stop him from doing whatever the hell he is going to do, adding all of those things together, I am maybe worse than my son.
Mm. Okay. So to that, I would say, um, God in um, his virtue, uh, because he has to. I mean, because he's has these different aspects to his nature, these omni properties. So God is going to do what he can without violating violating the autonomy of a person.
That's not true though. That's why I brought up the part of God will murder you. Jonah is another example. God did
He
not let
can't.
Jonah do what he wanted. Jonah didn't want to do it. God said, "Fuck you."
Jonah
There's
still could have. Jonah still definitely could have
bro.
denied all of you.
He put him in a whale, bro.
Yeah.
That's
So
not a that's that would scare the shit out of anybody, dog. Come on, man.
you okay? Yeah. And for all transparency, I believe that
That's a
I think
metaphor.
there's a lot of evidence. Huh?
You think that's a metaphor?
No, not a metaphor. It's not a metaphor, but I don't believe that Jonah was a historical figure. No.
Oh, I mean that's fair. That's fair. Maybe I shouldn't use the word metaphor, but I forgot what it's called when they're doing like it's kind of like the Garden of Eden. There's a phrase for what.
Allegory, parable
Yeah,
type
thank you.
deal. Allegory.
Allegory type of thing. Yeah. I think there's a better word for it, but it's okay. Same thing.
Got you.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah.
So then we can look at other scenarios uh, where
But
God does not care about autonomy of anyone. It's just what I
I think we
want.
can stay at that example if you would like.
I mean, I like Job. Do you believe Job?
I, no, I also don't believe in Job. I believe Job was a. I believe Job was an allegorical book as well.
All right. Well, then it doesn't matter which one we stick with. Then, so go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I was about to say. At the end of the day, they still had the autonomy to do what they wanted. We even see Jonah being wroth even after he preached. He uh he literally said, God, I if I can't see these people burn, I want to die. And he could and we see that that was not an attitude that was um generated from him preaching. He had this entire hate in him from the moment that he set out to Tarshish, which is the place opposite of Nineveh. Um, he could have carried that. He could have said he had the autonomy to say, "God, I don't want to do this," or to say, "Bump these people of Nineveh. I'm going the opposite direction." Still,
Okay.
but
But we're skipping
uh,
over the fact that
that he
God,
did it.
no, but God still put a gun to his head and said, "Do it or else." That's not a choice to me. I want to be clear on that.
He, he
Um,
didn't say do it or else.
I mean, he put him in a whale.
Yeah, and
That's a gun to the head.
in the okay,
Like
so
this should be real. Like not. I would say most people that have a gun to their head will do whatever the person says. That is not a choice any longer.
I would also still I'd still disagree with that.
Yeah,
But
that's what's scary to me when it comes to some of these things, because I have children and I could see scenarios where they literally don't think they have a choice because they don't have a choice if another adult's in the room. That's not a choice, and I don't do victim blaming.
okay.
So, like,
You're talking about that. Okay, I think that that bears a whole other level of culpability when it comes to those instances.
well, then
They don't have
we're talking about God, which would be the
okay.
ultimate
So,
threat for anyone.
ooh, all right. So I think the difference in the instance that you just brought up and the instance of Jonah is where is their ability to comprehend and understand those complex types of things because they won't be able to even process those types of things until they're literally physically and
Oh
mentally
well,
mature.
no, no, no. Well, the point I'm making is it's just something they don't want to do.
But yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like
But when
they
it
just
comes
don't want to do it. A choice to
when it
me would be literally I don't do it if I don't want to.
yeah,
If you put a
and I
gun to
think
my head and like let's not even make it graphic. If you put a gun to my head and you're like, "Give me your wallet." I don't want to give you my wallet, bro.
but you want to live, therefore you give the wallet.
So I don't have a choice.
You
The choice would be like, "Hey, here would be the choices, right? Let's just say this scenario. The robber comes to me, puts the gun to my head. He's like, "Hey, I give you choices. Here are there would need to be 3 in this scenario. Like, hey, or maybe it's 4. All right, hey, I shoot you. Hey, you give me your wallet. Hey, I take the gun away from your head. Hey, I this 3. That's fine. We'll do the 3. Those are choices. I actually have the option that I want, which is for him to leave me the hell alone and not take my wallet. That is a choice. That is a real choice. If he only gives me 2, like, hey, I'm gonna shoot you, or you give me my wallet, that's no longer a choice. Like I really don't think you think that's a
okay.
choice.
Also, okay, so I think that okay, I think Jonah still had a choice in not only walking into the city, but also preaching in the city. He could have just
Well,
lived in the city, or he could have went somewhere else, or
as
he
soon
could have.
as God put him in a whale,
But
he's no longer having a choice. That would scare him so much. Like that would scare him so much that he would just do it. He would do like whatever God said. Even if it's angry, by the way. Like I would give the guy my wallet and I would cuss his ass out. Like, so it's not like I would just like go ahead and be happy because I'm doing what God wanted. I would be mad at God too. Like, fuck you, man. You just put me in a whale. Of course I'm gonna go do it. But I would still be mad. Like
there's
so saying him being upset while he was doing it still negates the point because me and you right now, we don't have to say these things, but there are scenarios where people are forced to do things they don't want to do and they do it while being upset. That does not mean anything. It just doesn't mean anything. And
okay,
if you had a daughter or for the scenario that I'm talking about, you would go kill that person that did something to them or son. We always talk about daughters in those ways, but
yeah,
little boys are getting hurt too. So
yeah.
like
So
you would go do something because what if the guy came up to you? It's not always a guy either, by the way. I'm such a sexist sometimes, I guess.
you're
Um,
fine. You're fine.
if if the person came to you and was like, "Bro, why you mad? I gave them a choice." Are you? Come on, what are you gonna do? Slap him in the damn face?
Okay, so I think the difference here goes. All right, so I think when it comes to the culpability, it's what I would first and foremost. I would never blame a victim of any sort of travesty in that vein. Um,
Oh yeah,
but
I wasn't saying that by the way.
yeah, so and appreciate that. But you have if Jonah truly understood the gravity um of which he was trying to he was tasked to preach with, then he would have gone to Nineveh and did that. But we see that Jonah was already a preacher and he understood the weight of that relationship with God. And we see it in the first chapters of Jonah that he preached, he was a prophet, and he just did not want to go to other people because of his own prejudice. That is active,
Selfish, right? Selfish.
yeah, but that's selfish. But not only that, um it's negating like the responsibility that you have been tasked with and you've already accepted, right?
Yes, but you still should have an option to not. And like I said, I'm a person
And
that thinks I think billionaires should be helping people, but they also should not have a gun to their head.
right, they should free.
Or you kind of cut out there a little bit. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you hit a really high pitch and it went away.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, repeat
My
what
bad,
you
my
said
bad.
there. You're good.
But
Okay.
yeah, it they 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 have a responsibility to freely choose it, right? Or they not necessarily rock responsibility, but it'd be beneficial, it'd be for the greater good if they freely chose it,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah. But I don't
And
think
that's
anyone should walk up to them and put a gun to their head. Does that make sense?
but
Even though
you
I
oh,
think
wait, 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 wait.
that is the best scenario, I do not think that is the right thing to do.
Hold on.
You do not become the evil that you're trying to conquer.
And I completely agree with that. But
Well, I'm saying that for a reason, but I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
and I know we see this in the movies a lot. We see this in the movies a lot and things like where
Mm,
that moment where the rich, um, you know, rude, jerkish billionaire, they get taken and or kidnapped, and they get shown an orphanage or something. They get shown the plight of whether through circumstance or through another or the agency of another person. They get taken to see the travesty of poverty, and that ends up changing their hearts.
okay,
By
I'm
that
listening.
same vein, uh, that is what God was attempting to do with Jonah. It wasn't necessarily that it was do this or else, but he wanted God wanted him to see the plight of the people that he was actively rejecting and actively prejudiced against to get them to see this to get him to see the state of that and help those people.
Yes, I mean I get your point, right? But what does that have to do with? You're talking about Jonah more than God.
No, I'm talking about God. It's his virtue making properties. He wants Jonah to choose to help those people.
But is it right to force somebody to choose
He
the
didn't force him to.
what you want? Remember though,
He
we already
didn't.
just said the gun to the head is force. I thought we agreed on this.
He didn't force him to choose. He just he just led him to where he was supposed to be.
Leading
Jonah
somebody
chose
by
himself.
putting a gun to their head is not
I
kind.
don't think it. There, I don't think it's putting. Again, I don't think it's putting a gun to his head. If Jonah, if God really wanted to put a gun to his head, and
Oh, he would
okay,
put him
so
in a
in the
whale. He would put him in a
no,
whale.
so in the story of Jonah, it's traditionally it's what you call it. I'm not sure if this will necessarily go through, but um traditionally in the story of Jonah, whenever he was swallowed by the fish, he died like out cold. If that was really God's MO
Wait,
to
no,
really
no,
put
no,
a
no. He was alive in the fish. It says it.
no, he was in Sheol.
Hold on. No, 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 no.
Yeah,
Jonah was in there for how many days?
3 days, three
3
nights,
days.
just
Yeah,
like how
like
Jesus was. That's why Jesus
don't
says
you do no that's not a prophecy, man. Don't do that.
no, 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 no. I'm saying no. That's why Jesus says, just like Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the fish, I will be in the heart of the earth 3 days and 3 nights. I'm not saying that's a prophecy per se, but that's the reason why Jesus made that allusion.
Okay, here it is. So he was alive because it says after 3 days and 3 nights in the fish's belly, Jonah prays for forgiveness and then the fish vomits him out.
You
That's
can pray in
that's key.
Sheol. You can pray in Sheol.
Oh, I forgot you did say you believe that. Oh, okay, yeah, you did say that. Yeah, you did say that. I don't see him saying that he was in Sheol though. You have a verse on that? Are you saying that is your interpretation? And
I'd say that's
I'm not.
just
I might not. I'm not give that to you, but I'm not gonna have you look for a verse that doesn't exist.
I got you.
Yeah. And I'm okay with your like, no, that doesn't exist.
All right. So he says in Jonah 2, 1 through 2, it says, Then Jonah prayed to the Lord from the belly of the fish, saying, I called out to the Lord out of my distress, and he answered me out of the belly of Sheol. Notice he doesn't say out of the belly of a whale. He says out of the belly of Sheol.
Okay. That's what it
I
says.
cried, and you heard my voice.
All right. That's what it says.
So Jonah
But
pretty much.
do you see how this still is a gun to the head, right?
No, okay. So if it was truly a gun to the head,
I mean, he's in a place he
do
doesn't
you
want to
think that
be,
God
right?
would have do you think that God would have sent him to Nineveh?
Wait. Why do you say that? Why not?
Because if it was a obey me or else you die, then he would have stayed dead.
No, because remember, God knows. God knows what needed to be done to make him go. God knew he was going to go. God also knew he needed to put him in the whale, right?
Hold on.
Yep.
So what makes you okay. So what does that have to do with him
So
trying
I am
to
saying it from the perspective, like you got to look at it from two perspectives and then erase the other person as you're looking through the other person's perspective. So
yeah.
when I look
Okay.
at it through God's perspective, I am saying God did know all of these things, which makes it worse, by the way. But okay, God knew everything that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Jonah knows nothing, so he is scared to shit, right? And this is like I said, this is like being in that room with somebody and having to listen to them because you literally don't know what can happen. So the person can just be like, hey, I'm not going to hurt you. So what do? You kind of get docile and you listen to them because all you can go off of is what you know. So Jonah doesn't know anything. He doesn't know he's going to get in a whale. Like he doesn't know these things.
But
So
okay. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go. You might, if you know where I'm going, then I don't mind you
Yeah.
interrupting.
Yeah. So what does Jonah know?
Uh, in this scenario, it seems like Jonah does know God, and that's all he knows.
He also knows his responsibility. He also knows
He knows God wants
what
him to go,
he knows that God who wants him to go. He knows that he's prejudiced against the people that he is tasked to go preach to as well. So I think that those things also need to be taken into account when we think about, just like in my scenario with that I told you about with the billionaire getting taken to go see the orphans or the poverty. It's not God's goal to get him to do the thing. God is not focused on the ends. He's focused on, and that's what I've been that's one of the things I've been focused on is the virtue ethics
I mean, God's
from
definitely
the
focused on the
perspective of God.
ends,
God God's not focused on the ends. He's focused on the heart of Jonah and the heart of the people of Nineveh.
which is the ends.
That's not the ends
What? Why not?
because
The ends are to save these people. Let me just say it that way.
okay. So I'd say the ends aren't well, okay. So according to tradition as well, and I'd probably have to look up the verse on this, and or yeah, I probably have to look at the verse on this. But Nineveh ends up being being ransacked, and Nineveh is not a nation anymore. It may have been a nation in the past, but it is not a nation anymore. It was completely ripped. Um,
So you're saying
but
God knew that was going to happen, right?
yeah, But when it comes to the ends, it's not um the ends aren't necessarily that something happens. It's that he's not trying to change the trajectory of what you do. He's
He's definitely trying to
trying to
change that.
no he's trying to change the internal things. And that's what he wanted for Jonah to understand
Then
is that
why did God make
okay,
Jonah that way?
what do you mean?
Like, why did God make Jonah capable? Not capable, but yeah. I mean,
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know how else to word it.
yeah,
Why did God make Jonah that way?
he
It
made
just
him
doesn't make sense, man.
okay. So he makes Jonah capable of making these decisions and
No,
capable of also making hold on. He makes him capable of making wise decisions just as much as he's made him capable to make dumb and selfish decisions too. But God understands that you can't that the wise decisions won't mean anything if you don't have the possibility of making stupid decisions. So
there
Jonah just
are.
chose. Hold on, wait. Jonah just chose the stupid decisions.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
That's it. That was it. Jonah just chose the stupid decisions
Sure, God made him that way.
with the capabilities of such. He doesn't make him stupid. He makes him with the potential that he can be wise or foolish.
Does that add up to you, really? I'm just
Okay, why
like,
why wouldn't it add up to you?
if you are capable of creating a machine and then you allow that machine to do things that harm or break itself, you are a bad designer. If I have I do software. So
Yeah.
if I make some software that is capable of destroying itself, we call that a bug. And then I need to go correct the bug. I don't go and blame the whole program. It's my fault. I made it. I can't blame the program, and I probably wouldn't get promoted or lose my job if I was just like, "Hey guys, it's just the software doing it." And then my leadership would look at me like, "What the hell are you talking about, bro? You're the one that wrote the code."
Okay.
So
So I
it's
think that
just
goes back.
like why would I it would be my fault and I should go fix it. I should go rewrite the code.
Okay.
I gave the software options, right? And I didn't give it the correct options, which makes it my fault. The software can only do the things that I say it can do. And think of it this way to tie into God. Why didn't God allow us to fly? Why can't we fly? God makes limits all the time. I want to fly. Why am I not capable?
I
Well,
think that also goes into the whole bike analogy. What Okay, so the bike analogy that I
but
was
you're saying that I should be able to freely do stuff, but obviously God sets limits.
yeah, I also agree. I don't think
So
that uh
if God can set
okay,
limits, then
so
God can set limits to everything that I'm asking you about. God could have made limits to where Jonah would have never needed to be in the whale. It doesn't
what's
mean
the
Jonah
purpose?
doesn't disagree, but
Okay,
God could have
so
limited Jonah to be like, "Okay, God, you got me now, and I don't have to go into the whale." He could have disagreed all the way up to that point, and then finally God made him in a way that he would just agree because that's what he ended up doing anyway. He made Jonah agree.
he didn't make Jonah agree. Jonah agreed on his own accord.
I don't know,
And
man. I know you don't. I know you're not trying to make a excuse for the abuser, but it sounds like it.
okay, so if like I said, if God were truly to say, "Hey, it's like, hey, you're gonna do this my way, and you're gonna do it like you're not gonna have your own autonomy, or else you are useless to me," then why did he still allow Jonah to be able to preach to the Ninevites? That would be my question to you.
Why did he allow it?
Yeah.
That's what he forced Jonah to do.
No, no, no.
God
Why?
God gets
Not
what
not
he
what.
God,
Why?
because God gets what God wants. I think that's pretty clear. That's God's nature. Nothing happens without God's permission. So God gets what God wants because God in God's nature has no choice but to get what God wants.
if if God got what God wants, then he wouldn't allow Jonah to have a will at all.
No, because you said that God wants us to have a will. So that is part of God's wants too. And I'm granting that. I think it's silly
So
to punish people for something that you gave them, but I'm just rolling with you here.
oh,
The fact of
and
the
then I got
matter is, yeah, go ahead.
I do have to go in about like 10 minutes or so.
Okay, that's cool.
But continue. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. But I'm just saying, like, God, everything that happens is what God wanted because God knew it was going to happen. And that's why I brought up the things that God doesn't allow. So God puts limits on things. Like, literally, everything is God's fault because I don't see a being, according to the story, that is not stopping things when it wants to stop it and allowing things when it wants to allow it, right? There's plenty of verses in the Bible where God's like, I allowed this to happen to you because you effed up. Like, and then there's parts of the Bible where it's like, I did this because you effed up. So in every scenario, whether it's bad or good, guess what? God is to blame. For some reason, we just blame God for all of the good. But no matter what happens, God itself has said that it is me doing it. And this ties
Oh,
into
also,
go ahead.
I was gonna say also, I did look into that verse that we talked about
Hmm.
yesterday with God creating peace and evil and light and darkness. I looked into that verse. That is actually like a mistranslation when it comes to the I create peace and evil. It's more so along the lines of peace or order and calamity.
Yeah, I know the calamity part people use, but at the same time, it's God saying he creates destruction.
Calamity just means disorder in that sense.
Okay,
If you look
bad.
at the
I just
Hebrew,
used the word destruction, but I mean, it's the whole entropy thing you're talking about.
yeah, and I think that that's what we see in the Old Testament when it talks about the world was out without form and void. It was disorder in a disordered state. It was in a calamitous state. Not necessarily that
Yeah,
it was
which is bad.
destroyed or anything. Hmm?
It's bad. That's what I meant. It's just bad.
The bad. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you.
So it's like
Um.
God does create these things. God is in control of everything. It sounds like God is our president of the United States right now.
Ooh. Mm.
Like somebody that blames everyone else, never blames himself, while requiring higher standards from everyone else while he does everything that he condemns.
I would also disagree with that notion through of course, the life of Jesus Christ. But I understand your meaning, like the
Well, wait, but like, hey, we're talking about the Father. It's the Father.
yeah, I understand.
So that's what we're
Um,
talking about, right?
but
So
but I also yeah, we're talking about the Father,
that's a,
but
but the Father is a mean Father. Mean. Like, honestly, I don't like, what did the Father do that was loving? Can you give me some stuff?
he sent his only begotten Son
That's not
that
loving.
whosoever.
That's evil.
How is that evil?
Because if I go send my son to fix some shit that I did, that's bad.
That's not what he. That's not what's going on. It's not going to fix the things that he did. It's
Uh,
coming
who
to.
who is Jesus dying for?
He's dying for mankind
Why?
because we have sinned
And saving us from what?
from an eternity without him.
Who made the punishment?
We create the punishment.
We don't create anything. Don't give us credit when we you want to.
Yeah.
Who
Um.
created the punishment for not believing in Jesus?
We also create punishment. That's
We didn't. No,
that.
no, none of us, even the most evil person on earth, would never choose that punishment. We didn't create it.
Okay. So the reason why. Do you want to know the reason why I say that we create sin?
I mean, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so it goes into what I was talking about yesterday when it comes to uh, just the nature of what sin is. Sin is anything that is apart from God. So God, by proxy, cannot create that because He in Himself is God. He cannot create separation in between us and God. It is us who creates that separation through our choices and through our autonomy. Sin is
Yes,
just separation from God.
God would have caused a separation.
God doesn't cause separation. It is the Bible
Like,
is
like
specifically
the separation would be a punishment.
no. The separation isn't the punishment. The separation is the accident. Not accident in the way that's like a mistake, but accident as in it is a
It's
byproduct of
okay.
something.
It's okay, bro. God makes mistakes.
Yeah, it's a byproduct of something.
God made a mistake. Say it. It's
God
okay.
did
It's
not
okay.
make it.
It's
What I'm
okay,
saying,
man. God obviously made a mistake. Even if we
you know
go
what I
on,
mean by when I say accident,
yeah, you're trying to blame us again, right? You're blaming
something.
us. You're blaming us for everything.
I'm I'm putting I'm giving due credit where it is due.
But you're not. You're never
He
giving
created.
God its God's due credit.
I I am. He
If
created
God
us.
if God was a human, would you say God is bad? If
If God were a human,
if a human did everything that God did, is it bad?
if a human, I think that
If a human did everything that we're talking about, is it bad? The only difference to me is like I put God in front of it, and then you automatically have to um, condone it. And remember when I'm saying, guys, when I say we don't create anything, I'm playing along with God is in control of everything. So technically, no, you're wrong. We don't create literature. We don't create music. We don't create art. We don't do anything because nothing happens without God's will. God is doing everything. There is nothing going on that would not be God's fault in this scenario.
uh, I don't think that's a accurate representation of the framework that is expressed in scripture or even philosophically.
That's what God says.
Now, okay, so
Nothing
that's what
happens without God. Nothing.
he sustains existence, but yes, sustains existence, but at the same time, it is still us being conscious agents who
Uh,
enact. These
I like Job for a reason because even the devil had to go to God to ask for permission to do evil things. Like God is in control of everything, everything. And I don't understand how this is even a debate. God is in control of every single thing that happens. It is only allowed by God,
Yeah, I would agree with that second statement. It's only allowed by God, but I
which
wouldn't say
means
it's
which means it's your fault. If like, and this goes back to our whole conversation, my brother. Like
okay.
if you can stop someone from doing something bad and you do not, you are a bad person. But as soon as I say God did it, we totally disagree with what we would say in society. If if I saw you on a camera and there was some kid drowning in the water and I knew you could save them and you just sat there and watched and you were like, "Well, kid, I told you not to get in the water." I would call you the most evil motherfucker. Like I would say you were the most evilest person. But put God in that scenario, all of a sudden that kid is it's the kid's fault. Like you would literally say that. And like I want you to kind of wrap your head around that. You would say it's the kid's fault for getting in the water when the God told him not to. That is bro,
Okay.
that is horrible, man.
That's not what I'm saying.
But it is because you're saying that God gave me choices. So it's
Yeah.
my fault, whatever path that I choose. But God is the person on the shore, sorry, watching me drown.
Okay. So when we see in I'm gonna draw a comparison to scripture. When we see Jesus being tortured by the Roman soldiers, he looks up to God and says, "What?"
Why are you forsaking me? Oh, well, it depends.
Not,
It depends on what
not,
gospel we're talking about, by the way, because
not just that.
different
He
things.
yeah, as he's going to the crucifix, as he's being crucified, he says, "Father, forgive
Oh,
them,
forgive. Oh, okay, that part. Okay,
for they know not what they do."
okay. I know it sounds pretty, but I don't know how this ties to our point.
So not only does it is that pointing to God's mercy for whenever whenever someone's doing something terrible or doing something that they have no knowledge of the implications of doing such, aka a kid drowning. We see Jesus's expression of mercy for those people, but we also see um just this acknowledgement of the weight of their actions and inaction. So the only way that they can be held responsible is if they completely understand the weight of their sins or the weight of their actions.
Yeah,
That's
once.
why I would say, but that's why I would say that that man who just waits on the shore is a monster, is because he understands that he understands and has probably lived long enough to see what death does to people and what death does to families.
Yeah, that's
Therefore, he
God.
understands the weight and importance of life.
That's God, man.
So that's but that's where I also say God's mercy comes in whenever God does understand those things, and that's why I also say that well, not I also say, but we see in Scripture that God has the ability to preach to those who's dead, and he presents himself
That's
to
why.
people.
Why I do all that though. Like I get what you're saying,
Yeah,
but that is putting people through drowning when they don't need to drown.
he get he gives them the possibility to drown.
That's not cool, man. Like
Okay,
if I let my
so
daughter halfway drown because I'm going to save her, you would still call me cruel. If I'm like, bro, I'm gonna resuscitate her. I know how to do it. And it's 100%. It's 100% going to be for sure. You would still call me a monster for allowing her to drown with all that fear. and everything and pain, you would call me a monster. Like, just say that for me. You would call me a monster. Me.
Okay.
Would you not? If that was my story, right? Like, and that was my story. I'm like, hey, bro, yeah, I let my kids drown halfway, but I resuscitate them. Would you think I'm a good person?
No.
Okay, so then why does God get a pass, man? Like,
I think
can we just not give God a pass? Like, I get if you're just scared of God, that's different. Like, we would have a whole different conversation if you were sitting here telling me, like, hey, man, God's the most powerful thing. We just got to do whatever the hell it says. That's a different conversation. But you're trying to present to me this loving thing that allows its children to drown. And it's like, it's okay that you went through all of that
it,
drowning because I'm going to resuscitate you. That's still horrible. Like that is a very
it
horrible thing, man. Like it kind of hurts my heart talking about it because if this is real, that's what's going on, and that is a horrible being. There's no
okay.
excuse for allowing that kid to drown at all.
And that's I I don't well, first and foremost, I don't think it pleases the heart of God to see people suffering. It doesn't. God's not I think that a lot of people in who are skeptics and critics of Christianity and just the Old Testament God, the Abrahamic God in general, think that he revels in suffering.
I think God does talk about being pleased and that like you will also praise uh people being punished.
We
Like I think that's rejoiced.
what
Let me see. Because God, I think God rejoices in like punishment of the wicked or something like that. But go ahead
I'm unfamiliar with
while
that verse.
while
You
I'm
have to share.
typing. Yeah, I'm looking to
But
make sure. I'm gonna say if I'm wrong, I'll say it.
okay. But
But
we
go ahead and
even
finish.
see,
Yep.
yeah, we see Jesus himself in the midst of suffering, and even before he's about to go suffer himself, we see him saying, "Hey, God, if there's any other way, like take this cup from me."
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And
Which is
so we
weird,
see
but
this,
I don't want to change the subject.
yeah, and we see also we also see that God is not willing that anyone should perish, but his will is that all people will come to repentance. He doesn't revel in any kind of perishing, and he
uh, to
doesn't revel in,
to be fair, my not I don't know if it's misinterpretation or not, but it's more about God rejoicing in justice.
yeah,
But to me, justice can be horrible. But that's cool. I'll take back exactly what I said though. It is
yeah.
more about just rejoicing in justice.
I think that, yeah, I think God does. I believe God does rejoice in justice, and justice can sometimes, of course, you know, in our eyes, sometimes it can be a little bit eh, but that's besides the point. I think that's also due to the fact that we've never experienced in our lifetimes what it means to have perfect justice. But I digress. Um,
I still think you're gonna have to think. I know you got to run in a minute, but I want you to think
yeah.
about that,
Oh
man.
man,
Like
it's past time for me to run. Goodness,
when
8:30 we're calling it. 8:30 we're calling
all right,
it.
that's 4 minutes. It looks like it's not 8:30
Okay,
here, but it looks like it's 30 coming. Uh,
got you.
but
But
I really want you to think about this, man. Put whatever story you are saying about God, make it a person, and if you say that it's bad, you need to critique God in that same way. Please don't judge your neighbor on higher standards than God, because that is what we do, by the way, and I hate that. I truly can't stand it. That's why our society is like crumbling. Like we judge people on higher standards than our other stupid beliefs that we, and I call them stupid just because we can't prove them. Right? Like it doesn't mean they're not true. Like I said, none of this means that God's not real. But
yeah,
all I am saying is we do not judge this thing that we say is in control. We don't judge it, but we judge each other. That's
amen.
that's crazy to me. That's crazy, man.
And
You
I
and that and
understand
that
if
that
you,
ties into our political views, by the way. Like we allow the people in charge to do worse than we allow each other to do. It's so weird. This whole uh
yeah,
fallacy to authority. I don't know what to call it right now, but
appeal to
it's
authority.
appeal to authority. Like we just allow these people that are supposed to be taking care of us. This is this analogy for God. These people that are supposed to be taking care of us, making sure we are okay, they're allowed to be evil and we get the blame. And that's what we do for God. You allow God to do whatever, and then you would never allow me to do what God does. Like you would never allow me to do what God does to people. You would kill me. Like you'd kill me before I got a chance to do it. So
Uh,
it was just like why is God allowed to harm you, man? Is it just because
I
it's
would
God?
no. I would just whenever you get the time, of course, not dodging this, and I'll address it. But just whenever you do get the time, I definitely would encourage to study up on, or not study up, but to look into ethical frameworks and look into virtue ethics in specific, because I think that'll give you a little bit more insight into what into the aim of God in the Bible.
All right, tell you what.
Because
I'm gonna take notes. I'm gonna do this. I want you to do the same that I asked though.
okay,
And really think about
like
that,
look at
man, because
think about God as a man. Uh, I of course
think about every time that you defend God, right? Now just make that into a human story and see if you make the same excuse for the human in real life. Make and there's plenty of horror stories, right? I think I can almost find a story in the Bible that God did and put it into real life, like for real. So it's just like if you blame a person for doing the exact same thing that God did, okay,
so
you have to question
okay.
yourself. If God did
So
it and it's okay, and if I did it and it's not, you gotta think about it, bro.
let's let's
Okay?
define our terms.
All right.
Okay, by human, you mean just a person with a limited and temporal
I mean,
existence
what else does
who,
human mean, bro? I mean,
yeah.
however you want to determine human, I'm just saying, like, I don't even care if it's the most, if it's the person you love the most, right? It can be the best person in your life right now. If they did some of the things that God is allowed to do, they would not be the best person in your life anymore.
Do you think that regardless of reason
Virtue.
would be the would be a factor in that?
Let's do this. You're gonna come with some scenarios where you think that God and the human in the scenario would actually be okay. Because
I think
my whole point is that God gets to do horrible things, and then we just say there's a reason. And then when a human
well,
does it, we're like, nope, sorry, bro, no excuse.
I okay. I will definitely look
And
into that.
I got
I
virtue
will, and
ethics
I'll
right
honest
here. Virtue ethics.
and I will honestly look into this, and uh, I'm still making my way through. Is God a moral monster? Did you see I sent you that, by the way?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Maybe we can start a little book club, bro. Maybe we can.
I just hey, I really want you to do this, man, because
I'll do that.
I think it's a problem that you can, like I said, I don't think I'm gonna change someone's beliefs really. Uh but I do want honesty in the beliefs, right? So
Yeah.
from what I see, right, this is just me, you believe in a God that is, what's the nicest way, mean, like really mean, and you should start questioning that. Like just because, and I know I'm trying to drag you on a little bit. We're 3 minutes over. Uh, but just because somebody slaps the shit out of you and then puts ice on your face does not mean the slap was okay. Like that is literally what do they call it, Stockholm syndrome or something. That is literally a abused victim that now says that their abuser loves them. So I'll let you close out because I said I wasn't going to start anything. I'll let you respond, and you'll get the last word. I try to be different than other channels. Like I'll give you the last word. So go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Um, yeah. Um, I still would say I stand. There's a justification to stand by God, uh, due to just an appeal to uh, virtue ethics. If God is trying to create the most amount of good out of people who can freely choose Him. So, in order for us to be maximally good, in order for things to mean something, they have to have the possibility of being privated or have the possibility of being taken away. Just like how if we value a trophy that is earned through hard work and not just given through by pure participation or just showing up, it's valued way more if you earn it. In the same vein, the good that comes from choosing to do good is more valuable and is what God is seeking for in us as humans with personal autonomy. So, um, yeah, that would be my final word. Even despite all the oh wait, but never mind. Hold up. Even despite all the evils that we experience, um, as dastardly and as foul and as disgusting and hurtful that they may be, we know that um, we know that the good means something. We know that the terribleness means something as well. But it wouldn't be possible without without a God to see it through. And that'd be it. That's my final statement.
All right, man. Uh, Kindred. All right. Thanks for stepping in, man. I don't know how far I can get you. Eventually, if we talk long enough, you will agree with me, bro.
Hey man, or you
I,
will agree with me, bro.
I'm
Hey,
telling
look,
you.
look.
Well, here's
Uh,
the difference between me and you, right?
yeah.
I'm not trying to get you to change what you actually believe. I'm just trying to get you to see it differently. Because
As am I. I'm just trying to offer a different
you could,
perspective.
but you want me to, you know what I mean? Like I think you want like the belief part, right?
I
My
don't want
thing,
for you to.
my
Hey,
thing is, even if I believed in the Bible God, I would still say the things that I'm saying. And when I was a believer, like fully, like I honestly still used to question those things that I'm talking about now. So like that's just something to think about, man. Like I just want you to be like, hey, I believe in a mean ass thing. And then me and you maybe be having a little to me, I'm not saying we're not talking honestly, but I think we get to that next level of honesty when I can get you to say that, hey, God is mean as shit.
man.
So hey, like I said,
I,
we'll see,
I was about to.
bro. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Hey, man. Maybe I'll get you to see this. To see that this mean God is still worth looking into, and
Hey,
maybe even worth. Maybe even.
as long as I could get you to start off by saying this mean God, if the day you really mean it, we'll take the next step. That's all I gotta say. So,
Hey,
all right,
maybe
but let me let you go, man, because I know you said you had to go. It will start a whole nother conversation because it sounds like you're
yeah,
like me, and we'll just start talking again. So, if you really
yeah,
gotta go, I
yeah. I gotta go. I
appreciate
gotta
you.
go.
All right, man. So I appreciate you,
But yeah,
Kindred. I'm
it,
sure we'll talk again, man.
indeed, indeed. Yeah. Have a blessed one, man.
All right, take care, brother. Peace. All right. We had a pretty long conversation again. So, like I said, I do appreciate him calling in. I wish somebody else. I think we're coming to an end today. Like I said, it's a different day. Monday was probably just hyped up because everybody was on vacation. We had Anna was my first time streaming, so I think that was a little more hype than usual. But we definitely will start doing these more. Maybe like only like 3 days a week because I don't want to bore people out, and I still want to make my video content. I'll probably start breaking down some of these live conversations into segments for the people that don't want to sit here and go through 3 4 hours of videos. Um, Unfortunately, I'm going to see if I can get another video out for tomorrow, but I don't know if I have one lined up. So we'll see how that goes. But I definitely appreciate everybody for stopping in. Um, the only way I stay here if it's is this somebody wants to hop in and chat. If not, we're gonna go ahead and call it, and then I'll probably see you guys on Friday. I'm thinking, and I'm thinking an earlier Friday. So like we'll see that maybe. Like my schedule's a little weird. Like I'm kind of spoiled because like I'm off on Fridays and all that good stuff. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to go press your buttons, click your buttons. Let the algorithm know that you actually like my content. As always, I'm Jay. Don't forget, throw away your feelings, open your mind, and question your beliefs.